things are different in the Mac OS than in the iPhone because basically it's mobile and it goes all over the place. Well, I've got a couple of grandkids that have Macs and they take them everywhere.
Yep.
And yet it seems like your position is that because phones are more mobile, that they need more restrictions than the Mac does, which of course you know Apple treats Mac differently. What's the real difference here, and why should it make an impact on us?
The real difference between the Mac and the iOS system is human review. Mac uses purely technical review. The iOS uses a very robust and expensive level of human review. There's extensive testimony from Mr. Federighi and others about this at trial. Apple made that decision for iOS based on its Mac experience. They did not want the phone to be like a computer. Computers are buggy, they crash, they have problems. It wanted the phone to be better, and then the iPad and then the phone to be better. And it created a much more robust system. It can be likened to the Mac has a lap belt, and the iOS has a 6-point racing harness. It's safer. They're both safe, but it's safer.
So this gets to the pro-competitive aspect.
Yes, Your Honor.
This is the defense that you have to the things that the district court found, that there were some anti-competitive natures. So it really boils down to, from the Apple's perspective, there really is enough of a difference in the iOS operating system as opposed to the macOS that it's justifiable. You also have a difference between the purchase of physical items and non-physical items in the IAP.
So
what's the difference there?
So both of those, Your Honor. The district court's market definition is mobile, digital, game transactions. That doesn't include Mac. She defined mobile to exclude PCs. And it doesn't include physical transactions. She defined it to be only digital. We have to look at the area of effective competition within the relevant market. The market was defined as mobile, digital game transactions. The competing platforms there are the Android stores. And there we have abundant evidence of the pro-consumer benefits that Apple provides by preventing malware, by preventing fraud, by preventing social engineering, by preventing privacy intrusion, by limiting pornography, hate speech, and other objectionable conduct.
So from Apple's perspective, there really, really is a difference here. This was not the district judge making a Solomonic decision, taking a little bit from you and a little bit from the other side and coming up with a relevant market.
Your Honor, we propose, to be very clear, a market for all digital game transactions, right, including on computers. The court found 4 submarkets and limited this case to 1. We have accepted that for purposes of this case. We've also pointed out in a couple of footnotes that this is a dynamic and evolving market that I suspect in future litigation that issue may have to be revisited.
And from your perspective, the Mac issue was a non-issue because the market as defined by the district court did not include Mac.
Well, that is one answer to it, Your Honor. Okay. There is another answer, which is all platforms, all computing platforms make decisions, or the operators of all platforms make decisions about a variety of things, but they include security and privacy. For iOS, and the evidence was undisputed on this from Steve Jobs' initial announcement speech, which was read into the record at trial, that Apple made the decision to make this the safest, the most secure, the most private computing device the world had ever known. It knew from its experience with Mac what not to do, and it made a better machine. And it made a machine that competes, that beats Mac, it beats PCs, it beats Android devices, it beats everything that's ever been done. Epic's expert, Dr. Mickens, a Harvard professor, got up on the stand and testified, nobody does it better than Apple when it comes to privacy and security. Mr. Sweeney, the CEO of Epic Games, testified that he uses an Apple phone because it protects his security and privacy better than anybody else. Dr. Evans, Professor Athey, Epic's expert witnesses both testified that security and privacy are pro-competitive justifications and that Apple had an edge over the competition based on security and privacy. And to bring this to where I think Mr. Goldstein was going when he said the only thing kept out by walled gardens is competition, that is just false. And it is totally disproven by the trial record. What's kept out by walled gardens is fraudsters and pornsters and hackers and malware and spyware and foreign governments who wish to hijack the phone and GPS and microphone feature of the device. And we put a chart in our brief at page 83 that shows that iOS has, a minute fraction of these intrusions from everybody else. And this gives consumers a choice. Apple gives consumers a choice. They can go to the open system, which is Android devices, which have many competing app stores. All the things that Epic wants in this case, Android already offers. And they open themselves up to more intrusions, privacy, malware, and so forth. Or they come to Apple and have the closed system, the integrated system, where Apple has human review of every single app, so it's trusted, reliable, safe, secure, private. That's competition. That's competition on non-price features, right? Quality features between the two ecosystems that provide a multiple of platforms, a manifold number of platforms, and the competition there is fierce, and this is Apple's competitive differentiator. Judge Gonzalez-Rogers recognized this in scores of factual findings, and they all outweigh the minor anti-competitive effects on only one side of the platform, by the way. The only anti-competitive effect is increased prices to developers. There are no anti-competitive effects for consumers, whereas every one of these pro-competitive benefits directly benefits consumers, and it also benefits developers through indirect network effects because it makes consumers more likely to transact on the platform.
Is it clear then that Apple concedes that Mac is an inferior product insofar as the safety features that you're talking about?
Not at all, Your Honor. The Mac App Store is the safest PC App Store. It is more open than iOS app stores.
Isn't the business decision have a lot to do with the fact we put a lot more on our phones these days? Anybody under the age of 30 has all of their information. Everything about them is on their phone, not necessarily on a PC, is it?
Absolutely, Your Honor. And Mr. Schiller, who helped develop the App Store, testified at that point at great length at trial that the phone may have your health information, your credit cards, your driver's license, and more with these digital wallets, of course, your phone is everything. And protecting it from hacking is the most important thing for Apple. And there's privacy here, too. Privacy is important. Apple protects privacy against large developers. As the judge found in a specific factual finding, large developers want to use user data, and Apple will choose its customers over developers. Epic apparently doesn't like that, but Apple is a customer-focused company.
Counselor, I know we're jumping to the UCL, but